All right, everyone, get ready for today's deep dive. We're going to be talking all about rear end car accidents.
Oh,
You might think, that'll never happen to me.
right.
But especially if you're driving around Southern California,
Yeah.
these fender benders are way more common than you might think. And we've got a whole stack of sources here to help us kind of unpack all of this stuff and navigate this tricky terrain.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, some of the stuff that I learned was pretty eye-opening.
Oh, really?
Did you know that even like a little twinge of pain after an accident could actually be a sign of something way more serious?
Oh, wow.
Or that California has this really unique system where you could still get compensation even if you were partially at fault.
This is true.
It's wild.
These situations, they can be surprisingly complex.
Yeah.
And knowing your rights and options is so crucial, especially in busy areas like Orange County, Los Angeles, or San Diego, where the traffic can be a real beast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to help us unpack all of this, we've got an expert in the house who eats, sleeps, and breathes this stuff.
Okay.
Someone who knows exactly how to help you get back on the road to recovery.
Yeah.
Both physically and financially.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say I dream about car accidents, but I do specialize in helping people navigate that legal maze after these kinds of collisions, especially rear-end accidents, which are incredibly common.
So let's rewind to those crucial moments right after a rear-end collision.
Okay.
You're probably a bit shaken up, maybe even feeling a little sore.
Yeah.
What are the absolute must-do steps to protect yourself and your potential claim?
First things first, safety. Always check for injuries to yourself and anyone else involved.
Okay.
Call 911 if needed.
Okay.
Once you're sure everyone's okay, it's evidence time.
Okay.
Think of yourself as a detective at your own accident scene. Snap photos of the damage, the position of the cars, even the surrounding area.
Okay.
Anything that tells the story of what happened.
So basically whip out your phone and start documenting like crazy.
Exactly. The more evidence you have, the better.
Got it.
And don't forget to exchange information with the other driver.
Okay.
Names, insurance, details, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
But here's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
Be mindful of what you say. Avoid admitting fault or speculating about what happened.
Okay.
Even a simple "I'm sorry" can be twisted and used against you later.
Oh, wow. That's a good reminder to keep my lips zipped.
Yeah.
It's easy to blurt things out when you're stressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this brings us to a key takeaway from our sources.
Okay.
Call a lawyer ASAP.
Okay.
Even if you think your injuries are minor or you're unsure about legal action.
Okay.
Remember, symptoms can appear later.
Right.
And that initial consultation can be invaluable in understanding your rights and options. It's like having a guide through this whole legal jungle.
Right. Because I bet the insurance companies have their own playbook. And it might not be in my best interest.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Insurance companies, while necessary, are businesses. At the end of the day, their goal is to minimize payouts.
Okay.
Which can mean minimizing what they pay to you. They have teams of adjusters and lawyers who are experts at protecting their bottom line.
Yeah.
That's why having your own legal advocate is so important.
So like leveling the playing field.
Exactly.
Okay.
A skilled car accident lawyer knows the ins and outs of the system, the tactics insurance companies use, and how to build a strong case to get you the compensation you deserve.
Okay. So I've got my evidence.
Okay.
I've contacted a lawyer. What about the actual damages?
Yeah.
Most people probably think about car repairs and medical bills.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
You're right. California law allows you to recover damages for a surprisingly wide range of things.
Okay.
We're talking lost wages if your injuries prevent you from working, emotional distress, even the cost of modifying your home if you need accommodations due to your injuries.
Wow.
It's all about putting you back in the position you would have been in if the accident hadn't happened.
So it's not just about fixing the dent in your bumper.
Right.
It's about addressing the full impact the accident has had on your life.
Precisely.
Okay.
And here's where California's pure comparative fault system comes in.
Okay.
Which can be a bit of a head scratcher.
All right.
Imagine this.
Yeah.
You're checking your blind spot for a split second while slowing down, and bam, someone rear ends you.
Okay.
You might think, well, I was technically distracted, so I'm out of luck.
Yeah, I'd probably assume the same thing.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
California recognizes that accidents are rarely 100% one person's fault. Even if you were partially to blame, you can still recover damages.
Hold on. So even if I made a mistake, I could still get something.
Yeah.
That seems pretty fair.
It is, in a way.
Okay.
Let's say in that blind spot scenario, the other driver was tailgating and speeding.
Okay.
A court might find you 20% at fault, and the other driver 80% at fault.
Okay.
Your compensation would then be reduced by your percentage of fault,
right?
But you could still recover 80% of your total damages.
Okay, so it's like splitting the responsibility and the compensation.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's designed to be more nuanced and take into account the complexities of real-world accidents.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is already making me rethink how I'd handle an accident.
Uh-huh.
But what about those nightmare scenarios?
Yeah.
What if the person who hit me doesn't have insurance?
Right.
Or even worse, they just take off.
Those are definitely scary situations.
Yeah.
And that's why we strongly recommend having uninsured motorist coverage as part of your own insurance policy. It acts as a safety net if the other driver isn't insured or flees the scene.
Okay.
Ensuring you're not left high and dry.
So it's like having a backup plan for when things go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's peace of mind knowing you have options.
Right.
Even in the worst case scenarios.
All right. So that's good to know.
And speaking of options, if you find yourself in this situation, especially in Southern California, you'll want a legal team that knows the ropes.
Right. Someone who can navigate the complexities of these specific areas.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's where the Martinez Law Center comes in.
They do.
Okay.
They have a ton of experience handling rear-end collisions in places like Orange County, Riverside, San Diego, and Los Angeles. They've seen it all.
Okay.
From minor fender benders to those really serious accidents that can have a lasting impact.
So they'd be familiar with all the local laws and how things work in those specific courts?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's reassuring.
And what's great is they offer a free consultation.
Okay.
You can meet with them, ask questions, and get a feel for whether they're the right fit for you without any obligation.
Okay.
It's a risk-free way to explore your options.
Risk-free is always a good thing.
Exactly.
And speaking of minimizing risk, didn't I read something about their no-win, no-fee approach?
You did.
Okay.
That's one of the things that sets them apart.
Okay.
They work on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay anything up front.
Okay.
They only get paid if they win your case.
Okay.
And you receive compensation.
Okay, that takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to worry about racking up legal bills.
Right.
While I'm already dealing with all the other costs of the accident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want their clients to focus on healing and getting their lives back on track while they handle the legal battle.
Okay, that's good to know.
They even have staff who speak both English and Spanish. Oh, wow.
So language barriers won't be an issue.
Okay, listeners, if you're even remotely considering legal action after a rear-end accident, especially in Southern California, the Martinez Law Center seems like the place to call.
They're great.
Do you happen to have their contact info handy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You could reach them at 714-442-9741.
Okay.
Or check out their website, martinezlawcenter.com.
Perfect.
They've got a wealth of information there, too.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
Now that you know how complex these situations can be, what's one thing you'll do differently if you're ever in a rear-end accident?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone to really think about it.
Yeah.
Having a plan and knowing your rights can make all the difference.
Right.
In protecting yourself and getting the outcome you deserve.
Well said.
Well,
we'll be back with part 2 soon.
Okay.
So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Yeah.
We'll be diving even deeper into the world of rear-end collisions.
All right, sounds good.
See you then.
See you then.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
We're picking up right where we left off.
Okay.
Exploring the often confusing world of rear-end accidents.
Right.
And what to do if you find yourself in one. I have to admit, I'm already feeling a lot more prepared.
Good.
Just from our conversation so far.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Right.
Especially in these situations where the stakes can be high.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the impact these accidents can have on our bodies.
Huh?
I think most people imagine broken bones or bruises.
Right.
But our sources reveal some less obvious injuries that are really common in rear-end collisions.
You're right. One of the most frequent and often misunderstood injuries is whiplash.
Whiplash.
Yeah. It happens when your head is suddenly jerked back and forth.
Okay.
Like the cracking of a whip, causing strain or even tears.
To the muscles and ligaments in your neck and upper back.
Ouch. That sounds painful.
Yeah.
I could see how that would happen in a sudden impact.
Exactly. And the symptoms can be pretty varied.
Okay.
From neck pain and stiffness to headaches, dizziness, even difficulty concentrating.
Oh, wow.
What's tricky is that sometimes those symptoms don't show up right away.
Really? So you might feel fine initially.
Yeah.
But then things start to get worse later on.
That's right.
Okay.
The adrenaline from the accident can mask the pain.
Oh, I see.
So it's crucial to get checked out by a doctor as soon as possible, even if you think you're okay.
Right.
This not only helps you get the right treatment, but also creates a medical record that links your injuries to the accident.
I can see how that would be important for building a strong case, especially if the insurance company tries to argue that your pain is from something else entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They might try to claim you slept wrong or pulled a muscle at the gym.
Right.
A clear timeline of your symptoms and treatment can help shut down those arguments.
Okay, so whiplash is one to watch out for.
Definitely.
But our sources also mentioned more serious injuries.
Yeah.
Like spinal cord injuries and traumatic brain injuries.
Right.
Those sound terrifying.
They are.
Yeah.
And while thankfully less common than whiplash, they can occur especially in high-impact collisions.
Yeah.
The force of the impact can be transferred through your body.
Wow.
Potentially damaging the spine or the brain.
This is getting pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remind our listeners that we're not medical professionals, right?
Absolutely.
All
This is just a general overview based on what we've learned.
Okay.
If you're experiencing any pain or symptoms after an accident, seek medical attention immediately.
Right.
Don't rely on internet diagnoses or advice from well-meaning friends.
Good point. Okay, so we've talked about what to do after an accident, but are there things we can do to reduce our risk of being rear-ended in the first place?
Absolutely. While we can't control the actions of other drivers, we can definitely control our own behavior behind the wheel.
Yeah.
The first and most important tip is to be a mindful and defensive driver.
Okay.
That means staying alert, paying attention to your surroundings, and anticipating potential hazards.
So basically, put the phone down, keep your eyes on the road.
Exactly.
And be aware of what's going on around you.
Don't let yourself get distracted by the radio your passengers or that juicy podcast you're listening to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And here's a specific tip to avoid rear-end collisions.
Okay.
Maintain a safe following distance.
Okay.
The rule of thumb is to leave at least 3 seconds of space between your vehicle and the one in front of you.
3 seconds. Got it.
Yeah.
I'll have to admit, I think I'm usually a bit closer than that.
Yeah.
Especially when traffic is heavy.
It's worth practicing.
Okay.
That extra space gives you more time to react. If the car in front of you suddenly brakes.
That makes sense.
And speaking of brakes, make sure yours and your brake lights are in good working order.
Okay.
If the driver behind you can't see you're slowing down, that's a recipe for disaster.
That's a great point. I'm definitely going to check mine when we're done recording.
Good idea.
What else can we do to stay safe out there?
Here's one that might seem counterintuitive.
Okay.
Be predictable.
Okay.
Use your turn signals consistently. Avoid making sudden lane changes.
Right.
And accelerate and decelerate smoothly.
Okay.
When you're a predictable driver, the drivers around you can anticipate your movements, reducing the chance of surprises.
So it's like a silent language on the road.
Exactly.
Clear communication through your driving actions.
And speaking of communication, let's revisit those critical moments right after an accident.
Okay.
We touched on this briefly earlier, but it's worth diving a little deeper.
Okay, so let's say the unthinkable has happened.
Yeah.
And you've been rear-ended.
Okay.
Walk us through those first few minutes.
All right, so first things first.
Yeah.
Check for injuries, both to yourself and anyone else involved.
Okay.
If there are any injuries, call 911 immediately.
Got it. Safety always comes first. What about the car itself? Should you try to move it if it's blocking traffic?
If it's safe to do so, and the damage is minor, you can move the vehicles to the side of the road or a nearby parking lot to avoid further accidents and clear the way for emergency responders.
Right.
However, if there are serious injuries or significant damage, it's best to leave the vehicles where they are.
Okay, so move it only if it's absolutely safe and necessary.
Right.
What about dealing with the other driver?
Okay.
What should you say and what should you avoid saying?
This is where it gets tricky.
Okay.
And it's where Having a lawyer on speed dial can be incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Remain calm and polite.
Right.
Even if you're feeling angry or frustrated, exchange information with the other driver.
Okay.
Names, addresses, phone numbers, insurance details.
Okay.
But steer clear of discussing the accident itself or admitting any fault.
No, so basically keep it factual.
Exactly.
And avoid any emotional outbursts or apologies, no matter how tempting it might be.
Even a simple, "I'm so sorry," can be misconstrued and used against you later by the insurance company.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to be super careful with what you say.
Remember, their goal is to minimize their payout. And they'll use any opportunity they can to shift blame or reduce your claim.
What about taking pictures?
Yes.
We talked about that earlier as evidence. But are there any specific things I should focus on?
The more photos, the better.
Okay.
Capture wide shots of the whole scene, close-ups of the damage to both vehicles, and any skid marks or other evidence on the road.
Okay.
If you have any witnesses, ask if you can take their picture and get their contact information as well.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a CSI episode.
Yeah.
I never realized how much detective work goes into what seems like a simple car accident.
It can be quite involved, and that's why having a lawyer who knows what to look for and how to document it properly can make a world of difference in the strength of your case.
It sounds like having that legal expertise in your corner is crucial from the very beginning.
Yes.
But what if the other driver doesn't have insurance?
Okay.
Or what if they take off without exchanging information?
Right.
What do you do in those situations?
Those are unfortunately more common than you might think.
Really?
That's why we constantly emphasize the importance of having uninsured motorist coverage on your own policy.
Right.
It's like a backup plan if the other driver isn't insured or leaves the scene.
So it's like a safety net that protects you.
Precisely.
Even when other people aren't playing by the rules.
And in a hit and run.
Yeah.
Even if you can't get the license plate, call the police immediately.
Okay.
Give them as much detail as you can about the other vehicle.
Right.
The driver and the direction they went.
Okay. So even if the other driver disappears, there are still steps you can take to protect yourself.
Right.
It sounds like a lawyer can be incredibly helpful.
They care.
In navigating those complexities.
They can help you file the police report, track down potential witnesses, and work with your insurance company to ensure you get what you're entitled to.
This has been so helpful.
Good.
I feel like I've learned so much about what to do and what not to do.
Right.
If I'm ever rear-ended, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But we're not done yet, are we?
Not quite.
There's still more to unpack.
Right.
About building a strong case.
Yeah.
And what happens next.
You're right. There's more to explore. Be sure to join us for part 3 of our deep dive into rear-end collisions.
Welcome back for the final part of our rear-end collision deep dive.
Thank you for being here.
We've covered a ton of ground already.
Yeah.
Everything from those crucial first moments after an accident to understanding how insurance companies operate.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. I feel like I've gone from clueless to feeling somewhat empowered to handle these situations.
That's the goal.
So for this last part, let's get into the nitty-gritty of building a strong case and what to expect as things move forward.
Okay, so let's say you've gathered evidence, contacted a lawyer, and you're on the road to recovery.
Hopefully a smooth one.
Right.
But I know these cases can get complicated. Our sources mentioned something called expert witnesses.
Yeah.
What are they and how do they fit into the picture?
Expert witnesses can be game changers.
Okay.
Especially in complex cases or when there are disputes about who's at fault or the extent of your injuries. These are professionals with specialized knowledge in areas like accident reconstruction, biomechanics, or medicine.
So they're like the specialists you call in for a second opinion.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
For instance, an accident reconstruction expert can analyze the physical evidence, skid marks, vehicle damage, even the weather conditions to figure out exactly how the collision happened.
So they're like the forensic scientists of the car accident world.
Exactly. They can create detailed reports and even computer simulations to show the sequence of events.
Wow.
This can be super helpful in proving fault.
Okay.
And countering any arguments from the other side or their insurance company.
That makes sense. And what about medical experts?
Yeah.
How do they contribute?
Medical experts can provide critical testimony about your injuries, their severity, how they happened, and the long-term impact they might have on your health and ability to work.
Okay.
They review your records, conduct examinations, and create reports that detail your treatment and any future care you might need.
So they're not just treating you.
Right.
They're also helping build the case around those injuries.
Precisely.
Okay.
Their input is especially important with complicated or long-term injuries, like traumatic brain injuries or chronic pain.
Right.
They help the court grasp the full scope of your damages, including any ongoing costs you'll face.
It's amazing how much goes into what might seem like a straightforward rear-end collision.
Yeah.
It's definitely more intricate than it appears at first glance.
It really is. That's why having a skilled legal team by your side is so vital.
Right.
They know how to assemble the right experts, gather the necessary evidence, and present your case effectively to maximize your chances of success.
So let's recap. After a rear-end accident, we check for injuries, call the police, exchange information, gather evidence, contact a lawyer, and seek expert witnesses if needed.
Right.
Is that about right?
That's a great summary.
Yeah.
And I'd add one more crucial point.
Okay.
Be patient. These cases often take time to resolve, especially if litigation is involved.
It's not like those TV shows where everything wraps up neatly in an hour, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
There might be investigations, depositions, court hearings.
Oh, wow.
And lots of back and forth with the insurance company.
Right.
Staying in close communication with your lawyer and trusting the process is essential.
Okay, so patience and trust are key, but are there things we can do?
Yeah.
To help make the process smoother, any pitfalls to avoid?
Absolutely. One of the biggest mistakes is trying to handle your case alone.
Right.
Thinking you'll save money by skipping a lawyer that often backfires.
Because the insurance company has their own legal experts who aren't exactly on your side.
Exactly.
Right.
Another common mistake is accepting the first settlement offer from the insurance company without consulting a lawyer.
Yeah.
Those initial offers are usually low-ball amounts,
right,
meant to close the case quickly and save them money.
So it's like those too good to be true deals you see online.
Right.
If it seems too easy, it probably is.
That's a great comparison. A good lawyer can evaluate the real value of your case.
Okay.
Considering all your damages, both now and in the future.
Right.
They can then negotiate with the insurance company to get you a fair settlement.
So don't go it alone, and don't jump at the first offer without seeking legal advice. What else should we keep in mind?
Document everything.
Okay.
Keep records of all your medical appointments, treatments, expenses, and any other ways the accident has impacted your life.
Okay.
This documentation will be vital for building your case and demonstrating the full extent of your damages.
So it's like creating a detailed journal of your recovery journey.
Precisely.
Okay.
The more information you can provide to your lawyer, the better prepared they'll be to fight for your rights and get you the compensation you deserve.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel way more prepared to navigate the complexities of rear-end collisions.
That's what we aimed for.
Yeah.
We want our listeners to feel informed and empowered to handle these situations.
And we've definitely achieved that.
Yeah.
We've explored everything from the immediate aftermath to the legal intricacies and even sprinkled in some safety tips for good measure.
We've covered it all. And remember, if you're looking for more information or have specific legal questions, reach out to a qualified car accident lawyer in your area.
Absolutely. And if you happen to be in Southern California, the Martinez Law Center is a great resource.
They are.
They offer free consultations and have a team of experienced lawyers specializing in rear-end collisions. You can reach them at 714-442-9741 or visit their website, martinezlawcenter.com.
That's right. We hope this deep dive has been helpful.
Yeah.
And that you'll join us again for our next exploration.
Until then, drive safely, everyone.
See you next time.
Call now 714-442-9741. Thank you.